This guide is going to cover the more advanced systems in the game, starting with power level. Power level is the sum of all of your weapons and armor's power and then divided by 8. This is considered your base power level. This is the power that matters as you progress through the game, and the game gives you upgrades based on this number. There are two things to keep in mind. You do not have to have your best gear equipped or even on your character. The game tracks your best possible power across all characters and vault at all times. Number 2. It is based on what you can actually equip. Say your most powerful gear is 2 exotic armor pieces in different slots. Since you can only wear one at a time, only one of those will count towards your base power level. If you have 900 hunter armor and you're on your warlock, it will not increase your power level because you cannot equip hunter armor on a warlock. There are two more things about power level I should mention. Your seasonal artifact is a tool to boost your power level temporarily. This does not count towards your base power level, but it does boost your power while in activities. This temporary boost will reset to 0 each season. Activities have a recommended power level. If you are below that, enemies will take less damage and you will take more damage. The seasonal artifact can help you complete harder activities, but it will not count towards dropping higher power gear. Gear stays the same power level unless you infuse it. Infusion is where you destroy a gun with a stronger power level to make your weaker gun a higher power level. This costs a lot of materials, but through seasonal rank rewards you can get upgrade modules. These can be used instead of materials to infuse your gear. Gear quality is important. Common, uncommon, and rare quality weapons and armor are not very useful. Sometimes, rare items will be your strongest power level gear, and that's okay. Keep those, but know you will outgrow them eventually. Guardians should strive for legendary quality gear. This gear has more perks and options compared to other gear qualities. Exotics are the highest tier, but you can only have one exotic weapon and one exotic armor at a time. Exotics have perks you won't find on other gear. Other than pinnacle weapons, legendaries generally share the same perk options. Different weapon types can roll with different perks. Armor can sometimes have enhanced perks, which are more effective versions of other perks. And weapons, from some sources, have more perks available to them. There are a lot of modifiers in the game. Some are used a lot, some are used only in certain missions, and some are new with Shadowkeep. The only ones that are used a lot are the ones available on your Nightfall card. There are 3 Singe modifiers: Arc, Solar, and Void. These buff elemental damage from all sources by 25%. There's also the Harsh Elements modifier that's rarely used. It increases elemental damage from enemies, but not for your damage. There are 3 positive modifiers. Grenadier gives you a fast grenade recharge and increases grenade damage. Brawler gives you fast melee recharge and increases melee damage. And Heavyweight increases heavy ammo drops and increases power weapon damage. There are also negative modifiers. These are mostly against the player, but there are some occasions when Prism or Momentum could actually help a player. One of the more penalizing modifiers is Extinguish. If everyone is dead in a darkness zone, you are removed from the activity and must start over. The modifiers for an activity will appear in the lower left corner for you to read after you select an activity. When you are ready, you can launch that activity. The 5 of Swords from Zur allows you to choose your own modifiers for Nightfall. Adding negative modifiers allows you to get a higher score. High scores can be required for exotic quests, emblem perks, and a higher chance at exclusive Nightfall drops. Buffs and debuffs are more complicated. Buffs and debuffs are listed in the middle left of your screen. Weapons can have buffs for things like damage, stability, and reload. Characters can have buffs for tons of things, and debuffs can negatively affect guardians or enemies. Guardian buffs are usually from your class ability, exotics, or your subclass tree. Many buffs are activated on melee kills. Debuffs can come from some subclass trees, grenades, seasonal artifact mods, traps, and exotics. There are 3 main types of debuffs. Ones that weaken enemies. This makes them take more damage. Ones that slow enemies. This keeps them from sprinting away. And suppression. This keeps them from using any abilities. Abilities that weaken enemies cannot be stacked with each other. Some debuffs are stronger than others, but the strongest debuff should count as applied if there are multiple on one enemy. When you are suppressed, you can jump, but not use your jump ability or your other abilities. If you're slowed by something like a floor trap or a tether, you can only walk, making it harder to escape. That wraps this up. Next time, we will talk about how to make your time in the game easier and improve your quality of life.
Cheese forever, Guardian.